quiet for a few minutes? All right, so we're live. So we're going to talk about solving absolute value equations. Now, up to this point, let's think about what we've done. We've talked about one-step equations, which you guys know how to do as well, right? We've talked about solving two-step equations. We've talked about solving complicated equations with x's on both sides. Solving equations with distributive property. Solving equations with fractions, tons of fractions, and you know how within seconds to get rid of and eliminate all the fractions, right? Huge, that's a huge amount of stuff. We've only been together for 2 weeks, right, in this class, right? So that's pretty amazing. And then you've learned consecutive integer word problems. You've learned number word problems. And now you've learned age word problems. That's huge. We've done an awful lot in 2 weeks. It's really, really amazing. And so now we're going to talk about a new type of an equation. And now most of you know what an absolute value is, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's just see, try to see. If I said, you know, what is the absolute value of 4, what would that be? 4, right? And then what if I said, what is the absolute value of negative 4? 4. What would that be? 4. Does everybody know this? Has anybody not been taught this? What's the definition of absolute value? Okay, Gideon.
The amount of digits away from 0.
Yeah, the amount of digits away from 0.
I can talk.
Now, if I had this picture of a guy, right?
It's very annoying how last year we were doing absolute value, and she didn't tell us, my teacher. And absolute value looks like parentheses, and parentheses looked like absolute value.
Right.
And then it sort of got mixed.
Yes. Absolute value are straight lines. Parentheses are curved. Sometimes you will actually, the absolute value sign can, like if I put a number in front of this like this, that would mean 2 times
The absolute value.
the absolute value of 4, right? That's what that means, right? So in a way, it's sort of like parentheses means multiply. If you put a number right in front of an absolute value sign, it also means multiply. But you're multiplying times the absolute value of 4, not just 4, right? See what I mean? I could multiply that 2 times the 4 and make that the absolute value of 8,
What is
right?
the point of absolute value of
That
So
equals
the
sign
point of absolute value is a distance. Do you agree with me? It's a distance. Can you have a positive distance?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we always have. Like go to the store, we drive a mile or 2, right? You can't have a negative distance. All right, if I drew a box, right? If I drew a box and this was 2 feet by 4 feet, right? Pretty straightforward. Try drawing a box with a negative distance for a side. It's like, it doesn't work. You can't have a negative distance.
Yeah, you can. If you do it on
Not a distance. Okay, all right. So Gideon said, yes, you can, because you have a graph, right? And on a graph, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's positive 5. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's negative 5. So if I'm over here, right, I'm 5 away from Gary. No, I'm Gary. This is
Billy Bob. Theologian Billy Bob.
This is Billy. Right? That's Billy. Right? I'm 5 away from Billy. But if I go on the other side, this is how we all think, right? If we're going to the left of Billy, if we go to the left of Billy, suddenly we're negative 5 away from Billy, right? No. We're 5 away from Billy.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
We're 5 units away from Billy. So absolute value, where's my eraser? Absolute value is talking about the distance away from 0. None of these erasers work very well.
The only thing that remains is
Oh, it's used up, John.
Oops,
You
I just
took off
erased
Billy's
my
no,
line.
Billy's foot was the last thing. It was the only thing that survived.
So absolute value, sounds like you guys all know this. Absolute value is the distance away from 0. Okay, that's important. So if I wrote an equation using an absolute value, let's see how that affects it. So let's say I said the absolute value of x, ooh, it's interesting, is equal to, because this is probably the first time you've ever put an x in an absolute value is my guess, right? For most of you, right?
Yeah.
Most of you put numbers in there. I mean, but x is a number. It's just that I don't know what number it is, but it is a number, right? That's what it stands for. So the absolute value of x is equal to 8. All right, so what can x equal? So Anna,
8 and negative 8. No, just
is that right?
Yeah.
Can it equal? Well, let's see if she's right. We'll just try it.
No, it
We'll
can't
try it.
equal. No, but it can equal negative.
She's
8 because
saying-
it's absolute value.
She's saying so if x were 8, the absolute value of 8, is that 8?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, let's try the other one. She said negative 8. Is the absolute value, is that true?
No.
Oh, yeah. The absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8. Because think about it. Gideon, look, keep your head up. If I'm down here at negative 8, right, I'm still 8 units away from 0. I'm not negative 8 units away from 0. I'm 8 away from 0.
If you're
It's a
negative-
distance, right? It's a distance. I'm a certain distance away from 0. I'm not a negative distance. There is no such thing as a negative distance.
Why is the absolute value negative 8? I'm confused.
So whenever you have an absolute value of a negative number,
I see what I
the
did.
answer is that number positive, right?
I
that make
thought
sense?
what's inside of the lines is the absolute value.
Oh, I see. Got it. Yeah, the lines are actually the sign that you're going to actually, the lines are actually telling you to find the absolute value of what's inside, which now becomes positive, right? So if that's the case, when you solve a problem like this, you do that. You do exactly that. You're saying that this x could either equal 8 or it could equal negative 8, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to write this same equation. You guys, I can't have you talking, okay? Right now. You've got to write the same equation without the absolute value sign. So I'm going to write x is equal to 8, right? X can equal 8.
But it
And then
also
I can
equal
say,
negative 8.
or,
Oh.
and then I write x is equal to the negative 8. Whatever this is, negative 8. And I'm done. Well, that was a very easy equation. Now we're going to do a harder equation. Let's say we did this. The absolute value of 2x plus 4 is equal to 10.
Ooh, can I do that?
All right, so, well, let me do it because we're running out of time, so I'm just going to do a quick, I want to do like 2 problems just to be sure you get it. So I want to get rid of the absolute value sign, but I know that inside this 2x plus 4 could either equal what? Either negative 10 or positive 10. So I'm going to first write it with exactly as it says here without the absolute value sign, because I know 2x plus 4 can equal 10. But I'm going to have to put and 2x plus 4 equals negative 10, right? And then I'll know what could go in there, what value x would be. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Subtract 4. And I've got 2x is equal to 6. Then I'm going to divide by 2, x is equal to 3. But I still have this and. I've got to write the word and then I'm going to subtract 4, and 2x is equal to negative 14.
How could it be equals negative 10?
Divide
if
by 2,
originally it
divide
was-
by 2, x is equal to negative 7. Okay? We know it could equal negative 10 because the absolute value, so then, if I plugged in negative 10 inside the absolute value sign, this would be true. The absolute value of negative 10 is positive 10. So I'm saying, what could x be? So you'll have 2 answers. With absolute value equations, you're always going to have 2 answers.
Okay.
And a common mistake is they think, oh, well, if the first answer is 3, the second answer is negative 3. Not true. You have to solve each one separately. If the first answer is 3, I don't know what the second answer is until I solve it, right? I have to see. So let's try one more. Can I erase this? We'll try one more. Let me just look at the paper and see if there's anything that's tricky on these. I don't think so. Pretty straightforward. I don't think you guys will have any trouble with them. They're pretty easy, really. Man, erasing is for the pets here. All right. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's make one up. Let's say I did 5x minus 5, the absolute value of that is equal to 50. All right. So I'm going to write two equations. The first one is going to be the exact same equation because I know inside this 5x minus 5 could either equal 50 or it could equal negative 50. So I'm going to write 5x minus 5 is equal to 50 and the word and, right? And then I say 5x minus 5 is equal to negative 50. And I'm going to solve it. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So that gives me 5x is equal to 55. I'm going to divide by 5 both sides, right? And then I get x is equal to 11. But there's still, I got to put the word and down here. And then I'm going to add 5 to both sides. If I add 5 to this side, stay there for just a second. We're almost done. 5x is equal to negative 45. Am I right? And then I'm going to divide by 5. X is equal to negative 9. So there's my answer. I love them when you put them in a circle or a box. It's awesome. All right? So that's basically how they're very easy. Now, tomorrow, we're going to make them look harder. But the key is this absolute value is totally isolated. It's the only thing on the left side of the equation. That's why these are so easy.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, thanks, guys.